you. Please stay with us. Pope Francis has been a transformative leader with bold statements addressing contemporary issues. His statements were addressed to challenge global leaders, religious communities and individuals to create a more just, peaceful and sustainable world. Some of his most impactful quotes across various topics during his papacy. Just as the government "Thou shalt not kill" sets a clear limit in order to safeguard the value of human life, today we also have to say "Thou shalt not" to an economy of exclusion and inequality, working for a just distribution of the fruits of the earth and human labour is not mere philanthropy, it is a moral obligation. The current financial crisis can make us overlook the fact that it originated in a profound human crisis, the denial of the primacy of the human person. We now will look at some quotes at some Pope Francis standing up for migrants. Migrants and refugees are not pawns on the chessboard of humanity. We cannot allow the Mediterranean to become a vast cemetery. We will now move on to some more quotes Pope Francis had on migration and on refugees. Migrants and refugees are not pawns on the chessboard of humanity, as we've already. In the wake of the death of Pope Francis at the age of 88, the world is now focused on the upcoming papal conclave, where the College of Cardinals will gather in Rome to decide who will succeed the first Latin American pope in history. Pope Francis, whose tenure marked a significant shift within the Catholic Church, opened doors to a wider global perspective. His leadership, rooted in the values of humility and reform, has sparked discussions about what direction the Church will take in the future. According to reports, the next in-line contenders could be figures such as Cardinal Robert Serra from Guinea, Cardinal Luis Antonio from the Philippines, and Cardinal Frugilim Ambino Basugu from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Cardinal Raymond Burke from the United States, and Cardinal Matteo Zuppi from Italy. Each of these candidates brings a unique perspective with their own background and priorities, shaping what could be a momentous moment in history of the Catholic Church. Okay, if you're just joining us, we are covering the death of Pope Francis, who died at 88, the first Latin American to lead the Catholic Church. He died at 7:35 a.m. local time today on Easter Monday, a significant day on the Christian calendar. Mourners are currently gathering in St. Peter's Square in the Vatican, where there is a great sense of shock and sadness. World leaders are paying tribute across the globe, with one being King Charles, saying he has profoundly touched the lives of so many people. Francis' death comes just a day after he appeared in St. Peter's Square to wish Happy Easter to thousands of worshippers. He was recently discharged from hospital after 5 weeks of treatment of an infection. This follows on the February 14th of this year, where the 88-year-old was taken to the Gemelli Hospital in Rome to be treated for pneumonia in both lungs. He had experienced difficulties breathing for several days. He was then discharged from that hospital on the 23rd of March. The pontiff was particularly susceptible to pneumonia, which is an infection on the lungs caused by bacteria, viruses, or a fungi, after undergoing partial lung removal as a young man. He also yesterday met J.D. Vance, Vice President of the United States, who has also paid tribute to the 88-year-old late pontiff. We are joined by Imam Yahya Pahlavinci to discuss this further once again. Imam, we've spoken about the development that happened to the traditional Catholic Church into the modern times under Pope Francis. I want to move on to the topic of women now. What did Pope Francis do for the role of women, both in church and in the broader perspective of things?
Well, as far as I can notice, I remember he was debating with the journalist, trying to defend the dignity of men and women, and also he had, I think, less any kind of prejudice institutionally or as a Christian Catholic Pope towards women in general, but also in the management of Christian sisters and in Christian Catholic Church. So I think that also in this field he was open, he was humble and very close to also the needs and the updates from the women from the Christians in the West as well as in the East, and he would defend women that are unfortunately abused or according to their vulnerability in any kind of society, and so I think that he was very sensitive to this issue, and even indirectly sensitive and successful, because he also tried to help men not to behave in a violent, even psychological way, threatening any kind of person, elder or younger, and women as well, within the family and within being consistent to the religious dimension, of course, as well as Christianity, but also in apart any religious background, to try to defend the respect between men and women in the family, but also in society, without double standards or injustice prevailing against women. So I think that was another good field of his contribution.
Thank you. We will now move to some more news. Pope Francis has been a transformative leader with bold statements addressing contemporary issues. His statements were addressed to challenge global leaders, religious communities and individuals to create a more just, peaceful and sustainable world. Some of his most impactful quotes across various topics during his papacy. This is some of Pope Francis's notable quotes. These are on climate change and the environment. The earth, our home, is beginning to look more and more like an immense pile of filth. There you go. You see Pope Francis commenting on modern issues of climate change, that he says is a global problem with grave implications, environmental, social, economic, political, and for the distribution of goods. We now move on to another quote. We are not faced with two separate crises, one environmental and the other social, but rather one complex crisis which is both social and environmental. As you can see, Pope Francis was not shy to move away from the modern, in some circumstances, polarizing issues. In the wake of the death of Pope Francis at the age of 88, the world is now focused on the upcoming papal conclave, where the College of Cardinals will gather in Rome to decide who will succeed the first Latin American pope in history. Pope Francis, whose tenure marked a significant shift within the Catholic Church, opened doors to a wider global perspective. His leadership, rooted in the values of humility and reform, has sparked discussions about what direction the Church will take in the future. According to reports, the next in line contenders could be figures such as Cardinal Robert Serra from Guinea, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tajil from the Philippines, Cardinal Fridolin and Bongondo Binsingu from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Cardinal Raymond Burke from the United States, and Cardinal Matteo Zuppi from Italy. Each of these candidates brings a unique perspective with their own backgrounds and priorities, shaping what could be a momentous moment in the history of the Catholic Church. We are covering the death